The star system of Kirin 5 was quiet. Too quiet, some would say. The endless blackness of space stretched out, dotted with distant suns and glimmering planets, but here, near the outer edge of known space, silence ruled. It was the kind of place where only the curious or the foolish ventured. A small fleet of alien explorers drifted through the void. Their ships were sleek and silver, built for speed and precision. On the bridge of the lead vessel, Commander Zira peered at the stars through a translucent dome. Her eyes, bright and alert, scanned the sensor readings. "Commander," said Lieutenant Rillen, her voice calm but tense, "we are picking up a signal. It is unusual." Zira's head turned sharply. "Unusual how?" Rillen hesitated. "It appears to be a distress beacon, but it is unlike anything I have seen before. The frequency, it is human." Zira's sharp features softened for a moment. Humans. They were an old legend, a species thought scattered and weak, barely capable of surviving in distant colonies. No one had seen a human vessel in decades. Many believed they had vanished entirely. "Show me," Zira said, her voice steady. She leaned over the display. A faint pulsing light appeared on the holographic star map, a tiny dot in the emptiness. The beacon was faint, almost imperceptible. "Why would humans still have an active distress signal?" Rillen asked. Her tone held worry. "They were lost. 20 years ago, every record says they failed. Perhaps they survived," Zira said, her voice low but certain. "Or perhaps it is a trap. Either way, we will find out." The fleet adjusted their course, heading toward the origin of the signal. The ships moved with silent grace, engines glowing faintly. The emptiness of space made the journey feel longer than it was. Hours passed, stretching into a tense quiet. "Commander," Rillen said suddenly, "the signal is gone." Zira's eyes narrowed. "Gone, are you sure?" "Yes," Rillen said, showing the sensor readings. "It just stopped. No trace remains. It is as if someone turned it off intentionally." A heavy silence fell across the bridge. Zira leaned back in her chair, considering. "This is not an accident," she said finally. "Humans are clever. If they are alive, they would know we would come. And if they did not want to be found." Her words hung in the air, unfinished but filled with warning. The fleet continued on, moving cautiously. The planet below, Kirin 5D, appeared lifeless at first glance. Its surface was barren, gray rock stretching across jagged hills and deep valleys. No cities, no activity, no life, at least not visible. Zira lowered the ship closer to the surface, scanning for any signs of life. The readings were strange. Subtle energy traces flickered in different spots like footprints frozen in time. They were faint, irregular, and scattered. "Commander, the energy patterns are consistent with human life," Rillen said. "Someone was here recently." Zira's brow furrowed. "Recently? How recent?" "Within the last few days, possibly hours," Rillen replied. The fleet slowed, hovering in formation above the planet. Each ship sent out scanning drones, tiny devices that glided over the rocky surface, searching for anything unusual. The drones transmitted back images of abandoned structures. They were human. Small, efficient, and designed for survival. But they were empty. Doors stood open, some damaged as if people had left in a hurry. There were signs of struggle. A toppled vehicle, scorch marks on the ground, tools scattered. "Someone was here and they left quickly," Zira murmured. She studied the images carefully. "But who? And why is there no trace of them now?" A low warning beep sounded from the ship. Rillen looked at the display, her face tense. "Commander, I am detecting movement. Sensors are picking up heat signatures." Zira's eyes widened slightly. "Where?" "Several points across the colony," Rillen said. "They are moving. Fast." Zira leaned forward. "Show me." The screen filled with small flickering dots. They moved deliberately, almost too precise for a random pattern. Zira felt a strange mixture of caution and curiosity. "Humans," she whispered. "They never move without reason. They are always prepared." Rillen's hand hovered over the controls. "Commander, should we attempt communication?" Zira considered this for a moment. "No, not yet. We observe first, humans. They like to test before they trust. We must be careful." The fleet remained silent, watching. Hours passed. The movement continued, but the humans remained unseen. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the energy signatures vanished. Rillen frowned. They disappeared. Impossible. No human could move this fast across the terrain without being detected. Zira's mind raced. "This is exactly what I feared." Humans are here, hiding, and they want us to find them. The rest of the fleet prepared for landing. Shuttles were lowered toward the planet, carrying scout teams ready for any encounter. The air inside the ships was tense, filled with anticipation and a hint of fear. "Remember," Zyra said to her team, "we do not know what humans are capable of. They are clever, resourceful, and dangerous. We must approach carefully, observation first. Engagement only if necessary." The shuttles touched down on the rocky surface. Dust rose and fell like smoke in the quiet. The scouts disembarked, moving carefully through the abandoned colony. Each step was measured, each sound amplified in the still air. The buildings showed signs of life, tools, equipment, and energy sources still running, but no people. It was as if the colony had been abandoned overnight. One scout, Lieutenant Kira, knelt near a scanner console. "Commander, the systems are active. Energy flows, machines are working, but there is no one here." Zyra approached, studying the display. "Someone is here. Someone intelligent. And they are waiting." A sudden alert sounded. Rion's voice came through the communicator, sharp and urgent. "Commander." "Movement detected." Multiple sources approaching from the North Ridge. Zyra's heart skipped a beat. The humans were here. They were coming toward the scouts. She raised her hand. "Hold positions. Do not engage unless attacked." The scouts froze, weapons ready, eyes scanning the rocky horizon. At first there was nothing, then faint shapes appeared. Small, fast, moving with purpose. They were humans, just as the sensors predicted. But they moved differently than expected, silent, precise, and confident. Zyra watched as they approached, analyzing every movement. The humans carried no visible heavy weapons, yet their posture spoke of readiness. Each step was controlled, deliberate, as if they were masters of their environment. "Impressive," Zyra whispered. "They survived. Against all odds." The humans stopped at a safe distance. They did not speak, did not signal. They simply observed. Their eyes were sharp, scanning the scouts with calm authority. It was clear. They were not afraid, but they were aware of the alien presence. Riln broke the silence. "Commander, what do we do?" Zyra took a deep breath. "We wait, observation first. Humans are patient. We must be patient too. They will decide when the first move is made." The silence stretched on, broken only by the faint hum of the scouts' equipment. Both sides stared at each other, waiting, testing, calculating. Somewhere deep inside, Zyra felt a thrill she had not experienced in years. This was history. She was witnessing humans, real, alive, and far from helpless. And she knew in that moment that nothing about this encounter would be simple. The distress beacon had stopped transmitting, but it did not matter. Humanity had arrived, and soon the galaxy would see exactly why. The rocky surface of Kirin 5D stretched endlessly, gray and jagged under the pale light of the distant sun. The alien scouts moved cautiously, their sensors scanning every shadow, every ridge, every broken wall of the abandoned colony. The humans had vanished, yet their presence lingered in the air like a whisper. Commander Zyra stood at the edge of a cliff, looking down at the colony from a higher vantage point. Her silver eyes reflected the faint glow of the human technology scattered across the settlement. Machines still hummed, power cores glimmered in hidden corners, and small vehicles sat abandoned, their engines warm as if they had been left in a hurry. "Commander," Lieutenant Riln said, pointing to a set of energy readings. "These patterns, they are consistent with human life, and they are recent." "Very recent," Zyra narrowed her eyes. "Recent? How recent?" "Within the last 24 hours, Riln replied. "They are moving fast. Whoever they are, they know this area well." Zyra's mind raced. Humans had survived here. Somehow, against all odds, they had maintained control of their environment, and they had done it quietly, without leaving visible signs. The alien fleet hovering above the planet was too large, too slow to approach unnoticed. Yet here on the ground, humans moved like shadows. "Deploy the observation drones," Zyra ordered. "We need to see them without being seen. I want images of the humans. No engagement unless absolutely necessary." Tiny drones launched from the scouts, hovering silently above the colony. Their cameras transmitted live images back to the fleet, revealing more of the abandoned outpost. Structures that had once served as laboratories, habitation units, and communication centers now stood empty. Yet everything was functional. Lights blinked in corridors. Data terminals displayed complex codes and energy grids. It was as if the humans had simply vanished into thin air. They are hiding, Riln whispered. But why? Humans are cautious, Zira said, her voice low. They have learned to survive by observing first. We are intruders in their space. They will decide how and when to appear. Suddenly, one of the drones detected movement. Tiny figures darted between the buildings, moving with precision and speed. The humans were careful, yet they were not afraid. Each step seemed measured, as if they were aware of every sensor and every camera. They are smaller than us, Riln said, astonished. But their speed, it is incredible. Zira leaned forward, studying the images. Do not underestimate them. Speed and size do not measure strength. Humans survive where others fail because they adapt. They think differently. We must respect that. The alien scouts advanced slowly, keeping a safe distance. Every movement was deliberate, every sound minimized. As they moved, Zira noticed subtle signs of human engineering. Some buildings had been reinforced with materials not native to the planet. Energy shields flickered faintly over certain zones, and in one corner a small craft sat hidden beneath a rocky outcrop, almost invisible to sensors. They are preparing for something, Riln said. Or they are prepared for us, Zira nodded. Exactly. And that is why we must watch. Humans are not reckless. They act with precision, planning for every possible outcome. We have to be patient. Hours passed and the humans remained hidden, yet the aliens could feel their presence everywhere. Sensors picked up faint heat signatures, subtle movements, and traces of recent activity, footprints in dust, energy pulses from hidden machinery, and the occasional flicker of light in windows. Then, without warning, a human figure emerged from behind a ridge. The alien scouts froze. The human was small but carried an air of authority. He moved calmly, observing the scouts without fear. His uniform was simple, designed for practicality, but it hinted at discipline and training. Commander, one human, Riln said, her voice tense. He is alone. Should we engage? Zira shook her head. No, observation only. We learn more by watching than by acting. The human stopped at a vantage point, scanning the alien ships above. His movements were deliberate, almost ceremonial. Then he raised a small device, pointed it at the sky, and pressed a button. A faint pulse of energy spread outward. The alien sensors detected it immediately. A signal strong enough to confirm human presence, but not enough to reveal his exact location. They know we are here, Zira said, and they are signaling something. But what? Before Riln could respond, more humans appeared. This time, 2 figures, then 3, each moving with the same precision and calm authority. They did not run, did not hide, they simply observed. Their posture and coordination spoke of training, experience, and confidence. Zira felt a thrill she had not experienced in years. These humans were alive, intelligent, and far from helpless. They were survivors in a place that should have destroyed them long ago. They are organized, Riln said, her voice quiet with awe. Not like the stories we heard. Humans are different. Yes, Zira replied. They are always different. That is why they endure. That is why they survive. The humans then moved in a coordinated pattern, spreading out across the rocky terrain. Each movement was deliberate, avoiding detection but staying in positions that allowed control of the area. The aliens realized that the humans were not fleeing. They were claiming the ground, preparing for any approach. Zira activated her communicator. All units maintain position. Do not engage. We observe only. Learn everything we can about them before making any decisions. The alien scouts followed her order, keeping a respectful distance. The humans continued their silent patrol, unaware of the exact size of the fleet above but clearly aware of some presence. Their discipline was clear. They had trained for situations like this. Hours passed again. The humans showed no aggression, no panic, only careful observation. Their movements were precise, their awareness almost preternatural. It became clear to Zira that these humans had been surviving under harsh conditions for years. Their lives depended on vigilance, intelligence, and unity. Commander, Riln said, finally breaking the silence, they are extraordinary. I have never seen a species survive like this. Their technology, their coordination. It is beyond anything we expected, Zira nodded. This is what I have been waiting to see. Humans are never helpless. They endure, they adapt, and they survive where others fail. That is why the distress beacon, or whatever it was not a simple call for help. It was a test, Riln frowned. A test? Yes, Zira said. To see who would come, to see if anyone could meet them on their level. And now we are here, and we are learning just how capable they are. The fleet remained silent, watching. Every sensor, every camera, every scan revealed more about the humans. They were not monsters, not weaklings, not prey. They were something else entirely. Something that demanded respect. Then, without warning, a human figure stepped forward onto an exposed ridge. He raised his head, looking directly at the scouts. His eyes were calm, focused, and unafraid. For a moment there was silence, then the human spoke. Not in a language the aliens understood, but in a tone filled with authority. Zyra's chest tightened. The sound carried a weight that went beyond words. It was a presence. A statement. Humanity was here. Humanity was watching, and humanity would not be ignored. Riln glanced at Zyra, her face pale but determined. "Commander, they are alive. All of them. And they are waiting for something." Zyra looked out at the humans below. Their small figures moved with purpose, their eyes bright with intelligence and discipline. "Yes," she whispered, "and we are about to find out exactly why." The silence stretched once more, filled only by the hum of alien machinery and the quiet movements of the humans. The abandoned colony was not abandoned. It was alive in ways the aliens had yet to understand. And Zyra knew, deep in her heart, that whatever came next would change everything they thought they knew about humans. The distress beacon may have stopped transmitting, but it had served its purpose. Humanity had been found, and now, the galaxy would see the first real glimpse of what humans were capable of. The alien scouts watched in awe as the humans moved across the rocky surface of Kirin 5D. Every step, every motion, revealed discipline, intelligence, and control. Yet despite their precision, the aliens could not understand the full scope of human capability, until now. From the edge of the valley, a low hum began, almost imperceptible at first. Then another and another, until the sound grew into a steady resonance that vibrated through the ground and up into the bones of the alien scouts. Zyra's eyes narrowed. She had felt vibrations like this before, from massive engines or weapons, but nothing prepared her for what was happening now. "They're not alone," she said. "Riln, check the sensors, now." Riln's fingers flew over the controls. "Commander, multiple energy signatures. They're ships, small, sleek, and fast, launching from behind the ridges." "They were hiding right under our noses." Zyra's chest tightened. "Human ships?" she whispered, almost in disbelief. Humans were supposed to be survivors, scattered, weak in numbers. Yet here they were, organized, hidden, and fully operational. The first of the ships emerged from the ridges, shining metal and energy arcs gleaming in the pale light of the distant sun. They moved with incredible speed, no hesitation at all. In moments, more ships appeared, dozens of them, small but heavily shielded, sleek in design and coordinated perfectly. The alien scouts froze, unsure how to respond. The humans did not attack, but their presence alone was a statement. Every ship moved as if it were a part of a larger organism, each following a precise role and formation. Sensors detected advanced cloaking and energy management systems. The humans had been preparing for this moment long before the aliens arrived. "Commander," Riln said, her voice tight. "They know we're here. They're waiting for something." Zyra nodded slowly, her mind racing. "Yes, and now we are about to find out." Humans do not act without reason. They do not waste energy. They are in control. Always. The alien ships hovered above the colony, their formation tense. Zyra could feel the calculated patience of the humans below. Each human ship, though small, exuded power. The alien fleet, though larger, seemed sluggish in comparison. The humans had the advantage of preparation and the element of surprise. Then one of the human ships moved closer. It hovered at a medium altitude, small but imposing, its energy shields shimmering faintly. A pulse of light emitted from its hull, scanning the alien vessels. Every sensor, every hidden corner was detected within moments. The aliens realized with a shock that the humans had anticipated their every move. "They're testing us," Zyra whispered. "They're seeing what we will do before we do it." Riln nodded, her face pale. "Commander, what should we do?" Zyra's voice was firm. "We hold position. Observation first, engagement only if necessary. Humans always watch first, then act. We must do the same." The humans did not speak, at least not in any language the aliens could detect. Their presence alone communicated authority. The ships formed a semicircle around the alien fleet, not attacking but asserting control. Every maneuver was precise, deliberate, and intimidating in its simplicity. Then, as if on cue, the human ships activated silent but visible displays of power. Energy arcs pulsed along their hulls, shields shimmering like ripples on water. The aliens realized the humans were demonstrating strength not in anger, but in clear warning. Any hostile move would be met instantly and efficiently. One alien vessel, larger and more aggressive than the rest, moved forward, curiosity, or recklessness, driving its actions. Zyra's hand shot out, stopping the pilot before he could advance too far. "Do not provoke them," she barked. "They are capable of destroying us if we make a mistake." "Step back!" The human ships responded immediately. One ship moved closer to the larger alien vessel, emitting a low-energy pulse that disrupted the alien ship's sensors temporarily. The aliens realized with unease that the humans were not bluffing. Every movement, every pulse was calculated to protect themselves while teaching the aliens a lesson in caution. Zyra felt a mixture of awe and fear. They are brilliant, tactical, disciplined, and patient. They have survived here for decades, hidden in plain sight, and now they are making their presence undeniable. Riln glanced at the readings. "Commander, their coordination is perfect. It's like they share one mind. Every ship moves in harmony, every action supports another. They are extraordinary." "Yes," Zyra said softly, "and they have been waiting for us. Waiting to show us that humans are not what we thought. They survive where others fail. They adapt where others die, and they will always endure." The humans did not fire, did not attack, yet the aliens understood the full message. Leave, or face consequences you cannot even imagine. The alien fleet was stunned into stillness, unable to act, unable to retreat easily without looking weak. Zyra realized something important. Riln, humans do not need to fight to dominate. Their presence is enough. Their skill, their precision, their patience, that is their strength. We have underestimated them for too long. Riln nodded. It feels unfair. They are small, yet they control this entire situation. They have no visible army, yet they are stronger than us in every way that matters. Zyra took a deep breath. That is humanity. Always underestimated, always surprising, and now they have made themselves known. Suddenly, a transmission came from one of the human ships, not in a language the aliens understood, but clear enough to recognize as an order. Immediately, some ships moved to new positions, creating a tighter perimeter. Others scanned the alien vessels, mapping every weak point, every system. The humans were efficient, deliberate, and calm. Zyra realized they were being studied. Every sensor, every movement of the alien fleet was being analyzed. The humans were not just showing strength, they were teaching control, discipline, and patience. They had survived decades on this harsh planet and had learned lessons no alien fleet could imagine. "Commander," Riln said quietly, I think they could destroy us if they wanted to. And yet, they are not attacking. They are watching. They are testing us," Zyra nodded. "Exactly. Humans survive by understanding others, by planning, and by acting only when necessary. This is their way. They never waste energy, never act recklessly, and never underestimate anyone, and now, we are part of their test." The standoff stretched on, tense and silent except for the hum of engines and the faint crackle of energy pulses. Zyra's mind raced, considering options, outcomes, and strategies. Nothing about this encounter was simple. The humans had the advantage in every way that mattered: preparation, intelligence, discipline, and control. Then one human ship moved closer to the alien commander's vessel, not aggressive but deliberate. A small pulse of light brushed across the hull of the alien ship, enough to cause alarms and minor system disruptions. It was a message: "We see you. We know you. Move carefully." Zyra's heart raced. She had heard stories of human ingenuity, but this was beyond imagination. They were not just survivors, they were masters of strategy and control. She turned to Riln. "Do you understand now? Humans do not need numbers. They do not need size. They survive because they are clever, adaptable, and patient. And when they make themselves known, they cannot be ignored." Riln nodded slowly, eyes wide. "It is inspiring and terrifying at the same time." Zyra gave a small, approving nod. "Yes, and this is only the beginning. We have seen humans on the surface. Soon, we will see what they can do in space, and that will change everything. For a long moment, the alien fleet remained in formation, silent, tense, and uncertain. The humans below and around them were not attacking, not retreating, not panicking. They simply existed, alive, powerful, and impossible to predict. The distress beacon had stopped transmitting long ago, but it did not matter. Humanity had revealed itself, and the aliens understood something profound. This was no ordinary species. This was a species that could survive, endure, and dominate, not through aggression alone, but through intelligence, discipline, and control. Zira watched the human ships glide gracefully across the rocky terrain, coordinated as if guided by a single mind. She felt a mixture of awe and caution. One thing was certain. Humans had arrived fully and without apology, and the galaxy would never look at them the same way again. The rocky surface of Kiran 5D was quiet now, but the tension in the air was thick. Above the barren landscape, human ships hovered in careful formation, their hulls glinting faintly in the pale sunlight. The alien fleet remained above, hesitant and alert, unsure of what would happen next. Commander Zira stood on the bridge of her lead ship, eyes fixed on the humans. "They are waiting," she said, voice calm but firm. "They want to see how we respond. And we must respond carefully. One wrong move and we may provoke them unnecessarily." Lieutenant Riln beside her swallowed nervously. "Commander, their organization is incredible. I have never seen anything like this. They could destroy us in moments if they wanted, yet they remain calm." Zira nodded. "That is humanity. They survive not by aggression alone, but by understanding the opponent. They assess, they prepare, and they act only when necessary. This is their strength." The humans did not advance, nor did they retreat. Their ships and scouts remained in precise positions, observing every alien movement. Below, small human figures moved across the rocky terrain, showing a combination of discipline and confidence that unsettled the alien fleet. Riln pointed to a cluster of human ships. "Commander, they are signaling. It is not a threat, it is an invitation to communicate." Zira raised an eyebrow. "An invitation? Interesting. Prepare a secure channel. We will attempt communication, but proceed cautiously. Humans are clever. Any misstep may be costly." The alien fleet opened a channel. A small pulse of light crossed space, and then a human voice responded. It was calm, firm, and unshakably confident. Though the aliens could not understand the language, the tone was unmistakable. Authority and patience. "They are speaking," Riln said. "But I cannot understand the words." Zira studied the transmission carefully. "We don't need to understand the words. The tone is enough. They are offering a chance to show respect. This is diplomacy. They are testing us." The aliens adjusted their formation, keeping their weapons ready but lowered slightly. The humans interpreted the movement instantly. One human ship moved closer. Not aggressive, not threatening, but deliberate. It hovered in a position of observation, its shields shimmering faintly. Zira felt a thrill mixed with caution. "Observe closely, Riln. Every action, every signal, they are teaching us. This is how humans establish authority without unnecessary violence. We must learn." Minutes passed in tense silence. Then a human figure stepped forward from a ridge, standing tall and calm. The alien scouts could see him clearly now. He carried no heavy weapons, yet his presence commanded attention. Every movement was deliberate, measured, and full of authority. Zira realized that this was the essence of humanity. Discipline, intelligence, and control combined with confidence. They did not rush. They did not panic. They simply existed in their environment, asserting dominance through presence and precision rather than brute force. Riln whispered, "Commander, look at them. They do not fight. They do not flee. They simply exist, and yet they control this entire situation." Zira nodded. "Yes, and that is why they survive. Humans do not need numbers. They do not need size. They survive because they adapt, they plan, and they act with precision." The alien fleet sent a small envoy to the surface, a team of scouts tasked with approaching the humans carefully. They moved slowly, weapons lowered but ready, scanning every movement. As they drew closer, the humans observed them without panic. One human stepped forward and raised a small device. A faint pulse of light swept over the aliens, mapping their positions and reading their movements. It was not an attack, but it was unmistakable, a clear display of awareness and control. Zira's heart raced. They are teaching us a lesson. Every action is deliberate. Every signal is calculated. They are showing strength without aggression. That is intelligence. That is survival. The human leader spoke again, and this time gestures accompanied the words. He indicated a path, clear and precise, showing the aliens a route to approach safely. Sarah interpreted it as a demonstration of mercy. The humans were giving the aliens a chance to learn, to understand, and to leave if they chose. Riln looked astonished. Commander, they are merciful. They could attack at any moment, but they do not. They are showing us respect and expecting respect in return. Yes, Sarah said softly. Respect is earned. And now humans are testing ours. We must respond carefully with patience and understanding. One wrong move and we fail. Not because they are cruel, but because they are prepared. The alien scouts followed the indicated path, moving slowly, observing the humans closely. Each step was measured, cautious, and respectful. The humans continued their observation, their eyes alert, their stance firm. It was clear. They would act only if provoked. Zira felt a mixture of awe and humility. Remember this. This is humanity at its best. They survive not because they are the largest or the strongest, but because they understand the rules of engagement. They adapt, and they act with discipline. This is why they endure where others fail. As the alien team advanced, the humans demonstrated another subtle display of control. Small pulses of energy arced along their ships and equipment, showing the aliens that every tool, every system, was functional and ready. It was a reminder of capability, not aggression but strength. Riln whispered, Commander, they are perfect. Every move, every gesture, calculated. We are witnessing strategy and intelligence in action. Yes, Zyra said, and that is why the galaxy underestimates them at its own peril. Humans do not need to fight unnecessarily. Their presence, their control, and their intelligence are enough to command respect. The alien scouts reached the designated area. The humans did not move closer, but they did not retreat. Their calm authority was palpable. Zyra realized that the humans had set the rules of engagement. They controlled the pace, the distance, and the tone of this encounter. Zyra turned to Riln. Do you see now? Humans survive because they understand control. They respect others who act wisely, and punish those who act foolishly. This is their power. This is their advantage. Riln nodded, her face pale but resolute. It is inspiring and terrifying at the same time. They could destroy us, yet they offer us a chance to show respect. Yes, Zyra said, and that is the true test. We must earn their respect by observing, understanding, and responding with patience. Any aggression, any recklessness, and we fail. This is humanity's way, and it is brilliant. The human leader then gestured to the surrounding landscape, showing areas of hidden machinery, patrol routes, and points of observation. The aliens could see now that the humans had prepared for decades, building a network that allowed them to control the planet without unnecessary conflict. They are masters of preparation, Riln said softly. Every detail considered, every outcome anticipated. We are lucky to be alive and unharmed in this moment. Zyra smiled faintly. Lucky, yes, but also enlightened. We are witnessing how humans survive, how they endure, and how they dominate, not through brute force but through intelligence, preparation, and control. Hours passed and the standoff remained. The humans neither advanced nor attacked. The aliens neither retreated nor provoked. The tension was alive, but it was not hostile. It was a lesson in respect, discipline, and understanding. Zyra felt a deep sense of pride and caution. Remember this, Riln. Humans do not need to conquer through violence. They conquer through mastery of themselves, their environment, and their understanding of others. This is why they endure where others perish. Riln looked out at the humans, eyes wide. Commander, they are extraordinary. They survive, they adapt, and they control every situation. And yet, they do not attack. They simply exist and expect respect. Yes, Zyra said, and that is why the galaxy underestimates them. They are patient, intelligent, and prepared. They act with precision and they survive because of it. This is humanity revealed. For a final moment, the humans gave a subtle signal, a nod, a gesture, a slight pulse of energy. It was acknowledgement. Respect had been shown. Lessons had been delivered. And for now, the encounter ended without violence. Zyra turned to her fleet. Return to formation. Observe from a distance. Humanity has shown us its strength, its intelligence, and its discipline, and now we wait. The next move will be theirs, and we will be ready. As the alien ships adjusted their positions, Zyra looked down at the humans below. They were small, yet they commanded the entire battlefield. They had survived, adapted, and endured, and they had done it without unnecessary aggression. The distress beacon had long since stopped transmitting. It had served its purpose. Humanity had revealed itself not through desperation, but through mastery. And the aliens now understood that this species, small, clever, and patient, was a force to be respected, feared, and never underestimated. In that quiet moment on Kirin 5D, the galaxy's future began to shift. Humans had arrived fully prepared, fully capable, and fully in control of their destiny, and the aliens, for the first time, realized just how formidable these survivors truly were. The alien fleet hovered above Kirin 5D, tense and uncertain. For hours they had witnessed humanity in action, silent, disciplined, and powerful without needing to attack. The humans had revealed themselves fully, demonstrating intelligence, preparation, and control. And now, the aliens had to make a choice. Commander Zyra stood on the bridge of her lead ship, her silver eyes scanning the human positions below. She had watched humans survive where others would have failed. She had seen them anticipate moves, read patterns, and respond with precision. Every lesson had been clear. This species was extraordinary. "Commander," Lieutenant Riln said softly, "they could destroy us if they wanted. And yet, they have given us an opportunity to leave peacefully. This is mercy." Zyra nodded slowly. "Yes, but mercy is not weakness. It is strength controlled, tempered by intelligence. Humans survive because they know when to act and when to wait. We must respect that." Below, the human ships remained in formation, still and controlled. Their scouts moved across the rocky terrain, scanning, observing, and signaling in subtle ways. Every movement was deliberate, yet it spoke of power and readiness. Humans had made it clear they were capable of defending themselves, and they would do so if necessary. The alien fleet began to move back, slowly at first, maintaining formation. Zyra felt a mix of relief and awe. She had faced many species in her career, but none like this. Humans did not need overwhelming numbers. They did not need massive fleets. They commanded authority through intelligence, preparation, and patience. Riln's voice broke the silence. "Commander, will they follow us? Track us?" Zyra shook her head. "No. Humans are confident in their strength. They do not chase or hunt unless necessary. Their presence alone is enough to ensure respect. That is why they survive where others fail." As the alien ships retreated, one of the smaller human vessels moved slightly closer, scanning the alien formation once more. The pulse of energy it emitted was calm, precise, and controlled. Zyra recognized it immediately. It was not aggression, but a warning. A reminder that humans had eyes everywhere and that any foolish move could be costly. "They are teaching us still," Riln whispered. "Even as we leave, they are showing us control, authority, and awareness." "Yes," Zyra said. "Humans survive by understanding, not by recklessness. They adapt, they anticipate, and they act with precision. And that is why they endure. And that is why we must respect them." The alien fleet reached a safe distance, still cautious but increasingly aware that no immediate threat would follow them. The humans had allowed this retreat. They had demonstrated power, control, and patience, and now they let the aliens depart without a single hostile move. Zyra turned to Riln. "Do you see now? This is why the galaxy underestimates humans. They survive not by violence alone, but by intelligence, preparation, and controlled strength. They are patient, they are disciplined, and they are capable of anything." Riln nodded slowly, still awed. "It is humbling. They survived here, hidden for decades, building networks, preparing for anything, and they did it all quietly, without revealing their presence until it was necessary." "Yes," Zyra said, "and that is the true test. They control their destiny, their environment, and even their enemies. They survive because they understand the rules of engagement, and now they have shown us why they are formidable. Below, the humans continued their quiet vigilance. Small figures moved across the terrain, checking systems, scanning for threats, and coordinating their positions. Every action was precise, every movement calculated. It was clear to the aliens that the humans had been preparing for centuries, building not just survival, but mastery over their world and the space around it. Zira's mind reflected on everything she had seen. The humans were not reckless, they were not weak, and they were not easily intimidated. They commanded respect, patience, and discipline. They had survived in isolation, studied the galaxy from afar, and now they had demonstrated that they were capable of defending themselves, and more. They are legends in the making, Riln said softly. We underestimated them. We thought they were scattered, weak, and easily controlled, but they are extraordinary. Zira smiled faintly. We were all wrong, and that is the lesson. Humans do not follow the rules that others expect. They survive, adapt, and dominate in ways we cannot anticipate. And now, the galaxy will learn. The alien fleet continued its retreat. Signals were quiet and the ships moved in careful formation, still wary of any sudden human actions. Yet nothing came. The humans did not chase. They did not attack. They simply maintained control, calm and disciplined, showing that strength did not require constant action. As the alien vessels moved farther away, Zira looked down at the humans on the surface. They were small, yet they controlled the entire situation. Every system, every movement, and every observation was precise. The humans had survived, adapted, and endured, not through violence alone, but through intelligence, patience, and preparation. They are a lesson, Zira said softly. A lesson for all who encounter them. Humans survive where others fail because they are clever, disciplined, and patient. They are prepared for every outcome, and they act with precision. That is why they endure. Riln glanced at her commander, eyes wide. And now, we leave. We report back. But how do we explain what we have seen? They are beyond any comparison. Zira nodded. We explain nothing. We simply acknowledge it, and we ensure that any future encounters are approached with respect, caution, and understanding. Humans do not need our respect, they command it. And if we forget that, it will be our failure, not theirs. As the alien fleet disappeared into the distance, the humans continued their quiet operations on Kiran 5D. Systems hummed, sensors scanned, and ships maintained vigilant positions. They had revealed their presence fully, yet without aggression. They had demonstrated intelligence, strategy, and control, and they had left the aliens with a clear message: humans survive, adapt, and endure. On the surface, the human leader watched the alien ships fade from view. He did not celebrate, nor did he relax. There was always preparation to maintain, always vigilance to uphold, but there was satisfaction in the knowledge that their presence had been made known, and that the aliens would never forget it. They will remember, he said softly to his team. They will respect us, and the galaxy will know we exist, not through fear but through intelligence, preparation, and strength controlled by wisdom. The humans returned to their routines, checking systems, repairing infrastructure, and monitoring the skies. The distress beacon, which had once called for help, remained silent. It had served its purpose, to draw attention, to test those who arrived, and to reveal humanity on their own terms. Zira and her fleet far above the planet maintained quiet communication. Report all findings, she ordered. Tell the Council what we have seen, but emphasize one thing above all. Humans are not to be underestimated. They survive, adapt, and endure, and they will change the balance in this region of the galaxy. Riln added quietly. We were lucky they allowed us to leave. They could have destroyed us without hesitation. Yes, Zira agreed. But mercy is part of their strength, and that is something we must understand. Humans are patient, intelligent, and in control. and that is why they endure, and why they will always be formidable. The alien fleet continued its journey home, silent and contemplative. They had come to investigate a faint distress beacon and had found something far greater, a living, thriving, and capable species. Humans were not weak. Humans were not helpless. Humans were masters of survival and strategy. Back on Chiron 5D, the human leader watched the stars. The aliens were gone for now. The planet was quiet once more, but preparation never stopped. Humans survived by planning, by understanding, and by acting with precision. They had endured decades of isolation and challenges, and they had revealed themselves on their own terms. And in that quiet moment, the legacy of humanity was clear. They had arrived fully, revealed themselves fully, and shown the galaxy a lesson that would not be forgotten. Intelligence, discipline, patience, and controlled strength could overcome fear, size, and numbers. The distress beacon had stopped transmitting, but it no longer mattered. Humanity had arrived, and now the galaxy would never underestimate them again.